Good morning, Alex and friends. I'm Grace. Today is Thursday, February 27th, 2025, and you're listening to Alex's News. The weather in Riverside will be warm today with a high of 81.7 degrees and a low of 63.0. Coming up on today's show, we'll examine the potential consequences of Trump's significant cuts to USAID and what this means for America's standing on the world stage. Then, we'll look at why Californians might soon be facing much higher insurance premiums and what's driving these potential rate increases. Plus, a special segment on this week's astronomical phenomenon. We'll tell you how you can view all 7 planets in the rare planet parade happening in our night sky. All this and more coming up on Alex's News. In a major shift in U.S. foreign policy, the Trump administration has announced sweeping cuts to international aid programs. We're joined by our State Department correspondent Ethan Williams to break down this developing story. Ethan, what can you tell us about these cuts?
Grace, this is a massive reduction in America's global assistance programs. According to reporting from the Associated Press, the Trump administration is cutting over 90% of USAID's foreign aid contracts. That's 5,800 of 6,200 multi-year contract awards, amounting to approximately $54 billion in cuts. Additionally, the Economic Times reports that 4,100 of 9,100 State Department grants, worth about $4.4 billion, are being terminated, bringing the total reduction in U.S. assistance worldwide to roughly $60 billion.
What's behind this dramatic shift in policy?
According to Al Jazeera, this follows an executive order signed by President Trump that initially froze foreign aid for 90 days to review programs and align them with his America First agenda. The administration has justified these cuts as part of their broader effort to reduce the size of the federal government. The Associated Press reports that President Trump and his allies, including Elon Musk, view many USAID projects as wasteful and promoting what they consider a liberal agenda.
Has there been any legal pushback to these cuts?
Absolutely. The Associated Press reports that nonprofits and Democratic lawmakers have criticized the administration's rapid contract terminations, viewing them as a way to circumvent court orders. A federal judge had previously ordered the unfreezing of billions of dollars in aid, but the Supreme Court temporarily blocked this order pending further review. It's become quite a contentious legal battle.
Which regions and programs are likely to be most affected by these cuts?
Based on analysis from Perplexity API, several regions will be hit particularly hard. Sub-Saharan Africa will see severe impacts, especially for initiatives addressing malaria and HIV/AIDS. While HIV/AIDS treatment programs have reportedly been spared immediate cuts, their future funding remains uncertain. Ukraine's economic recovery efforts may be hampered as they've received substantial aid for infrastructure and agriculture. Countries in the Middle East and North Africa like Jordan and Iraq that rely heavily on U.S. aid will face significant budget shortfalls. Small island nations such as the Marshall Islands and Micronesia that depend on U.S. aid for basic services will also be severely impacted.
Are there any programs being protected from these cuts?
Yes. According to Al Jazeera, some programs such as food assistance and life-saving medical treatments have been shielded. The State Department confirmed that Secretary of State Marco Rubio personally examined and approved the terminations, suggesting there was some level of prioritization in the decision-making process.
What are experts saying about the potential consequences of these cuts?
The humanitarian and diplomatic consequences could be far-reaching. Perplexity API analysis suggests potential health crises could emerge as programs addressing diseases lose funding. Economic instability might increase in regions heavily reliant on U.S. assistance. Diplomatically, these cuts may weaken alliances as countries that have relied on U.S. aid seek alternative partners. Development experts warn that reducing assistance could create security risks by destabilizing key regions and diminishing U.S. global influence.
How do these cuts compare to changes made by previous administrations?
While previous administrations have revised foreign aid commitments when priorities changed, the scale of these cuts appears more dramatic than typical historical adjustments. During Trump's first term, there were efforts to reduce foreign aid spending, including suspending payments to various UN agencies, but not at this magnitude. What's particularly significant is that these cuts primarily affect future multi-year commitments rather than just immediate yearly spending, which may have long-term implications for U.S. foreign policy.
Thank you, Ethan, for that comprehensive breakdown of this developing story. We'll continue to follow how affected countries respond to these substantial reductions in aid. In a story that could impact millions of California homeowners, Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara is expected to make a critical decision on State Farm's emergency rate hike request within the next 2 weeks. Joining us now with more details is our business reporter, Chloe Parker. Chloe, what can you tell us about this meeting between the Commissioner and State Farm?
Grace, according to reporting from Cal Matters, Commissioner Lara met privately with State Farm executives yesterday in Oakland to discuss their request for a substantial rate increase. The meeting included Dan Kraus, Chief Executive for State Farm General Insurance Company, which is the California branch, along with representatives from Consumer Watchdog, a consumer advocacy group that's serving as a third-party intervener in this case.
And what exactly is State Farm asking for in terms of rate increases?
They're seeking quite significant increases across multiple policy types. According to both Cal Matters and NBC Bay Area, State Farm wants a 22% average increase for homeowners, 15% for renters and condominiums, and a striking 38% for rental dwelling coverage. As California's largest insurer, these changes would affect millions of policyholders across the state.
That's substantial. What's State Farm's justification for such large increases?
The company points to recent Los Angeles County wildfires that they claim have significantly weakened their financial position. State Farm estimates they've already paid $1.75 billion on fire-related claims and anticipate total claim payments reaching $7.6 billion. This financial strain has reportedly reduced State Farm General's surplus from $1.04 billion to approximately $400 million, according to figures reported by Cal Matters.
I understand Commissioner Lara had previously rejected this request. What's changed?
That's right, Grace. Lara initially rejected the emergency request, but is now reconsidering after receiving additional information. During Wednesday's meeting, reporting indicates that Lara questioned State Farm executives about why the parent company hasn't stepped in to assist its California subsidiary, as it has reportedly done in other states facing natural disasters.
How did State Farm respond to that question?
According to Cal Matters reporting from February 26, State Farm General responded that approval of the rate increase would signal commitment from the state and potentially encourage the parent company to offer support. It's worth noting that the parent company, State Farm Mutual Automobile Insurance Company, serves as the primary reinsurer for State Farm General, which will reduce the California subsidiary's losses from $7.6 billion to $212 million through reinsurance agreements.
This seems to raise questions about California's insurance regulations. Can you explain what Proposition 103 is and how it factors into this situation?
Absolutely. Proposition 103 is a California law passed in 1988 that imposes several key requirements on insurance rate increases. It requires prior approval from the California Department of Insurance, mandatory public hearings for personal lines increases exceeding 7%, and detailed justification through actuarial data subject to public review. Consumer Watchdog argues that this emergency request would circumvent these protections, particularly the public hearing requirement.
What are the potential implications if Commissioner Lara approves this emergency request?
NBC Bay Area reports that consumer advocates are concerned it could set a dangerous precedent. If Lara approves the emergency rate hike without the public hearings normally required under Proposition 103, it could potentially allow other insurers to adopt similar strategies, requesting emergency rate increases without providing full justification. This might lead to increased rate volatility and less transparency in the insurance market.
When can Californians expect a decision on this matter?
According to multiple news sources, Commissioner Lara has indicated he expects to announce his decision within 2 weeks. State Farm originally filed for a rate increase in June 2024, but that request has not yet been approved. The company maintains that the urgency of the current request is necessary to continue serving California customers.
Thank you, Chloe, for that comprehensive report on this developing story that could impact millions of California homeowners. Here are some other headlines. The Department of Veterans Affairs has temporarily paused billions of dollars in planned contract cuts that were previously praised by Elon Musk. The cuts, which were part of broader federal cost-cutting efforts, raised significant concerns among lawmakers and veterans organizations who feared negative impacts on critical health services. Contracts supporting chemotherapy, imaging services, radiation detection equipment, and veterans cemetery management were among those targeted. The VA has emphasized that no benefits or services to veterans will be eliminated while they review potential unintended consequences of these cuts. The Pentagon has ordered all military services to remove content promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion from their social media sites by March 5th. This directive, part of the Trump administration's effort to end federal DEI programs, includes removing stories about gains made by women and minorities in the military. If services cannot meet the deadline, they must temporarily remove all content published during the Biden administration. Critics note this task requires substantial manpower and could distract from critical military operations. The Pentagon has also stopped official celebrations for Cultural Awareness Months. Central Africa is currently facing multiple disease outbreaks. A concerning mpox outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo has caused over 15,600 cases and 537 deaths, with cases spreading to neighboring countries. Additionally, a mystery illness in northwest DRC has resulted in over 50 deaths and 431 cases across multiple villages. Preliminary investigations suggest the first outbreak might be linked to children eating a bat carcass. In Kwango Province, an undiagnosed disease has affected 406 people, with 31 deaths primarily among children under 5. Uganda is also battling Sudan virus disease, with 9 confirmed cases, including 1 death. Actress Michelle Trachtenberg, known for roles in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Gossip Girl, and Harriet the Spy, has died at age 39. She was found unresponsive in her Manhattan apartment by her mother. Authorities believe the death was due to natural causes and do not suspect foul play. Reports suggest she had recently undergone a liver transplant. Tributes have poured in from former co-stars and colleagues as her family requests privacy during this difficult time. Pro-Palestinian protesters stormed a building at Barnard College, resulting in the hospitalization of a university employee. The demonstration, organized by Students for Justice in Palestine at Columbia University, was protesting the suspension of 2 Barnard students who had distributed pro-Palestinian leaflets during a class last month. Dozens of masked protesters chanted slogans, displayed videos on social media, and wrote "Free Palestine" graffiti on walls. College leadership offered to meet with protesters if they removed their masks, which they refused. The protesters began leaving by 11 p.m. after being given an ultimatum. Our third story tonight takes us to the heavens above. A rare astronomical event known as a planet parade will grace our skies this week, giving stargazers a unique opportunity to see all 7 planets in our solar system at once. Joining us to explain this celestial spectacle is our science correspondent Ethan. Ethan, what exactly is a planet parade?
Thanks, Grace. While planet parade isn't an official astronomical term according to NPR, it typically refers to when 4 or more planets are visible together in the night sky. What makes this week special is that all 7 planets in our solar system, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, will appear aligned in a single arc across the southern sky. This alignment will reach its peak tomorrow, February 28th, shortly after sunset, as reported by Fox 5 NY.
That sounds spectacular. Will everyone across the country be able to see this?
According to reporting from Fox 5 NY, this celestial event will be visible from most of North America, weather permitting. The best time to view it will be in the 90 minutes following sunset, looking toward the southern sky. NASA's Preston Dyches told NPR that this is a great opportunity for stargazers to see multiple planets at once. He emphasized that while these planets aren't physically aligned in space, from our perspective on Earth, they'll appear to form a beautiful arc across the night sky.
So how should our viewers prepare if they want to catch this planet parade?
Great question, USA. Today's Lohud.com reports that the 7-planet Delta Saturn, Mercury, Neptune, Venus, Uranus, Jupiter, and Mars will be visible in varying degrees of brightness. For the best viewing experience, Fox 5NY recommends finding a location with minimal light pollution and an unobstructed view of the horizon. Look west-southwest toward the sunset at dusk. Venus, Mars, and Jupiter will be easily visible to the naked eye, while Mercury will be harder to spot due to its proximity to the Sun.
Will special equipment be needed to see all 7 planets?
Yes, for some of them. According to NPR, while 5-planet NISA Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn can theoretically be seen with the naked eye, Saturn may be difficult to observe, as it will be low on the horizon, setting around 7:25 p.m. For Uranus and Neptune, you'll definitely need some equipment. Binoculars will help spot Uranus and improve views of Mercury and Saturn. But to see Neptune, you'll need a telescope with at least an 8-inch aperture at 150 times magnification.
I understand this isn't actually a true alignment of planets in space. Can you explain that?
That's correct, Grace. This planet parade is more of an optical illusion from our perspective on Earth. Dr. Jackie Faraday, an astrophysicist at the American Museum of Natural History, explained to Fox 5NY that planetary alignments occur when multiple planets appear on the same side of the Sun from Earth's perspective. The planets orbit the Sun in a relatively flat, disc-shaped plane called the ecliptic plane. Since Earth is also in this plane, the planets appear to line up in the sky, even though they're actually at vastly different distances from us.
If our viewers miss this event, will there be other opportunities to see something similar?
Yes, but they'll have to wait a while. NPR notes that another opportunity will come in late August 2025, when 4 planets will be visible just before sunrise. After that, according to Fox 5NY, the next chance to see all 7 planets simultaneously won't occur until late October 2028. Lohu.com mentions that the last time 7 planets aligned was during the total solar eclipse on April 8, 2024, so this week's event is particularly special for astronomy enthusiasts.
Thank you, Ethan, for that fascinating look at this rare celestial event. We hope our viewers get a chance to witness this planet parade tomorrow night. That's all we have for now. Today's episode was made by Alexander King with Claude Sonnet 3.7, Gemini Flash 2.0, the Perplexity API, and the Google Cloud Text-to-Speech API. Hope you have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, Alex.